and injury rehab because it was a fourth quarter class. I'd break it up, and I would actually, they were so sick of the massage music and clinicals at that point that when I would actually get them into the sports work, we would listen to reggae music.
Awesome.
And they loved it because they were just like, yes, finally something different. And it still was mellow, but it had a great pace for the work with the compression and the stretches, and they really enjoyed that.
Totally agree. It has that same feel about it without, I don't know about you, but some massage music, like, they have like those high-pitched tones or like those odd rings to them.
A couple of my clients' dogs, I had to like pull them out of my playlist because it would trigger them and they would start barking. And I'm like, it's the flute or it's that high pitch. And I would realize it, and I've had to slowly remove some of my song selection.
Kind of filter through a few
because of that, exactly.
Yeah. Even on that note, I don't know if you've ever worked for a Massage Envy or some of like the chains of spas.
I never have.
Their music taste is very interesting. I remember working for a place that played whale noises and race car track. Vroom, vroom.
Race car track. Now that's... okay.
Yeah, I think
I've had a football game on in the background for a diehard sports fan because they couldn't watch the game, but they wanted to hear it. So no one was in the house. We were set up in the living room, and you know, it's football season, so that's a great thing to bring up for all the guys out there, you know, but I just had a game on in the background and he could still hear the play-by-play.
That makes sense though. That makes sense. Something that he wanted to enjoy, but race cars and whale noises sound so like random.
Yeah, that's not a good combo.
No, I don't think so.
That reminds me of an episode of Friends when Ross busts out his synthesizer and he played music in college.
Yeah.
And it's all the weird random noises and stuff, and even Phoebe was like, oh my God, what is this?
I feel like some people who write these massage albums are just Ross sitting in front of,
They are.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, thank you for joining us. Raph King, back again with you. We're doing an actual massage interview today. Check that out. A massage channel doing a massage interview.
There we go. I like it.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Michele Munday. I have been a massage therapist now for 10 years and practicing here in the Prescott area for 10 years. I have a background working in massage education. That's actually what I dove into first when I became a massage therapist.
All right.
And then eventually down the road started working in chiropractic settings. I trained and worked in pain management for a little while, but always loved just having my private practice and clientele. So
you've got a cat.
Oh, my cat's joining us.
Cool. I love cats. What got you into body work?
You know, I was a tomboy my whole life, and it actually started with chiropractics when I was young.
All right.
I don't know exactly what started my low back issues, probably a couple falls off a bike and down some stairs and things like that.
Kid stuff?
Yeah, kid stuff, you know. Good thing we're more cartilage then, or I probably would have had a lot more broken bones than I actually did. But it was just those experiences, you know, as I got into about junior high, I was playing pretty competitively in sports and multiple teams. I started injuring my knee. So here I was going to chiropractics because of issues in my coccyx and sacrum and nerve impingement in my lumbar. And then here comes sports injuries. And I've probably sprained and strained my ankles dozens of times each. I can pop, you know, just with the twists, and
they're just scar tissue
exactly,
at this point.
just scar tissue at this point. And so that's what really led me into body work. But I didn't jump into it right away, believe it or not, even with having, why hello kitty, even with having a sports background. I actually bartended. I had a cleaning business. And all that in my early 20s is what actually pushed me into massage therapy and brought me back to that sports mentality because I was injuring myself. I was moving kegs and loading coolers and cleaning houses, and you know, all that strain on my body was affecting my knee, and I couldn't run anymore. And I was 24, 25 at the time, or I'd vacuum and my back would go out. And I would get chiropractic adjustments and stuff, but I knew there had to be more. You know, there had to be something more that I could do to prevent this, let alone just rehabilitate from, you know, all my little scars and injuries and so forth. So
you basically were a professional athlete, like level.
Yeah, I competed really hard, and I would be like, oh, I can't do that, I'm gonna do it. And you know, my brothers back east could tell you, they're my brothers from another mother. I was the girl that showed up on a skateboard or dribbling a basketball through the house and played, you know, football with the guys on the weekends and stuff like that. And just, I loved all sports, and I really just pushed my body hard. And as you know, a lot of the chronic pain we feel later in life, see, and this was something I didn't learn, is from poor management of injuries when we're younger. You know, when we don't properly care for those sprains, those strains, when we don't walk on our crutches for the 2 weeks we're told to, and 3 days later we toss them aside and we kind of hobble around, you know, those are all things that later on, as you know, start to affect us. And so that's what really brought me in.
Very nice. What keeps you going? 10 years is a long time.
You know, good body mechanics.
Yeah.
Having that foundation in massage education, just really as far as personal boundaries, communication skills, the mechanical component of it. I worked in a clinical setting when I got into massage education. I became the campus administrator, and as I was licensed, I also jumped into becoming a clinical coordinator and supervisor.
That's gangster.
So I went right into like, okay, let's develop treatment plans with new students. Let's take a look at intake forms, history, send them into sessions, watch, you know, the mechanics, their communication skills and all of that. So I think that's what really gave me, you know, the ability to just keep doing this long term. And then being someone who does hurt, who has nerve impingement, old injuries, I know the benefits of regular body work. And so I just like to educate my clients and help them just feel good and have that mobility and flexibility and just overall health. So
I have to say, it's so. I love your cat. What's your cat's name, by the way?
His name is Zaz.
Zaz.
As in Victor Zaz from Batman.
Yes. Awesome. All right.
Yes.
That's not a character that's referenced very often. Very cool.
Well, his name was Taz. He was rescued by a friend of mine who's also a massage therapist, and she couldn't keep him. And we were looking to take in another fur baby, so he became ours. And we liked Taz, but we wanted something different that was more suited to us. And so my husband was like, what about Zaz? You know, because the knives and cat claws. Exactly. He's actually got a battle wound today. His eye's a little messed up because he's a killer. He's our killer.
Fighter, huh? The interview's about you now. Do you have anything to say?
Some of my good friends wonder how I'm able to do what I do, especially being a mobile therapist. So as you know, we're traveling with our tables, we're bringing everything with, and they're like, if you hurt, how do you do this? And I'm like, it's an awareness. It's knowing what I need to do as far as my own self-care so I can enjoy this career long term, so I can be, you know, at my best for my clients, you know, who are suffering some of the same things.
Exactly. So. They need someone.
Exactly.
And I mean, coming to someone's house, I think you can agree, is it's kind of a big deal when it comes to like the convenience for the client.
Oh, my clients love it.
Yeah.
They love that they're not having to get in their car after a session and get into traffic. Or like myself as a mom, I'm guilty. I'll schedule a massage and then I'm stopping at the grocery store and then I'm running by the bank and then I'm picking up a kid and I get home and my shoulders are back up here after an hour and a half of errands and I'm like, oh, I did get a massage this morning. But my clients, you know, because I do weekend scheduling, I do evening scheduling. I mean, some of them, they're in their bathrobes when I show up and they're just ecstatic. And then I pack up and go and they can go soak in the tub with some Epsom salts or they can lay on their couch and read a book or even just go to bed. You know, and they just love that they don't actually have to engage with the world afterwards. They can just let the work process and take it all in.
Getting all this lengthened out and then sitting back in a car right immediately afterwards does no one any good.
Does no good. Your shoulders are back up here. You're stressed out. There's the anxiety for some just being on the road that creates just as much tension as a physical trauma will. So, it's nice to not have to go anywhere afterwards and just let it all process.
Definitely. We were talking about this a little bit before the massage, but what if you had ultimate power in our field, ultimate godlike power in this industry, what would you or what wouldn't you change?
Well, we did start to touch base on this a little bit. So one of the things that I definitely don't want to see change is kind of the withdrawal of licensing. That was kind of scary over this last year or two, where you hear about states bringing up this idea, well, massage licensing isn't required. Well, there's a lot that goes into the training, and as a massage therapist, our first job is to cause no harm.
Cause no harm.
And, we need to be aware of what's going on physiologically within our clients. People have had surgeries, physical traumas, they're on medications. We have to be as trained just as nurses, doctors, in what is going on within the body and all the various systems. So when you take away that licensing and you're not requiring therapists to go through a 750-hour or more program, they're not taking the anatomy and physiology classes. They're not doing kinesiology. They're not going through clinical trainings and therapeutic process and really understanding not just different massage techniques, but what these techniques are doing to the body, the contraindications that may come along with some of the work, which is nothing against like the foot spa places. They're great if you want a nice foot rub and stuff like that. Not to call it a foot rub coming from a massage therapist, that's horrible. But I'm not a big fan of establishments that don't have licensed therapists. And it's because, again, if someone's diabetic, if someone's got fibromyalgia or some sort of autoimmune issue, these aren't things that these therapists know about. And so if they were to take away licensing and that requirement of continuing education, I really worry about the harm that will come to a lot of people that go to seek massage and completely get the opposite of what they're looking for.
Especially when we're at a point where it seems like we're almost accepted into some of the medical community.
Exactly. I always used to joke, especially when I was back in massage education and we were doing open house events and I was talking to prospective students. Chiropractics fought for a really long time to establish themselves as something more than just like some woo-woo technique. And I feel massage is kind of like 30 years behind, but doing that same thing now, where now you're seeing it in rehabilitation centers, you're seeing more hospital-based massage therapy programs. I work with hospice patients myself and have recently lost a client, which is hard.
It's tough.
But, it's those things that we really need to be aware of and think about. And
it's a lot of avenues that you could cut off instantly. I mean, some insurances even cover massage now. And now that would totally go out the window with licensing. Not just that, but it was my understanding that your massage license covers you in a certain way for city licenses and business licenses. You would have to pay for all that for each city.
As a mobile massage therapist, I don't have to be licensed with the city that I'm working in. I don't have to be licensed with Prescott and Chino Valley and Prescott Valley.
The Quad City
area and pay fees to all these individuals because I'm not selling any products. I'm not selling essential oils or my own balms or anything like that. My state license is what gives me the ability to work. And then I'm also a member of the AMTA, the American Massage Therapy Association, which is one of two great organizations. I really like ABMP too. ABMP is a little more corporate based, where AMTA is more massage therapist run. But they're great organizations. They hold ethical standards. It's our liability.
CE classes.
Exactly. So I mean, it's really important to stay on top of these things and make sure again that we don't cause harm.
Definitely. Definitely. So, in short, don't change anything.
Exactly. Don't, please, as far as taking away, licensing. And that was something scary. When I first started reading about that, I was just like, the harm that will come to some that are actually seeking it as an alternative to medications or maybe just physical therapy or chiropractics isn't enough and they need soft tissue manipulation. I'm really worried that there's going to be those unexperienced, unqualified, because they don't have the knowledge of what is actually going on in the body. So.
It really makes a difference when someone like you can shadow somebody and just, maybe shadow is even too much of an intense word, but just be there for them when they have questions. What would you say is probably your most embarrassing moment in the past 10 years?
I actually, thankfully, knock on wood, haven't had too many embarrassing moments.
Nice.
I'm not going to lie. Especially because I went through being pregnant as a massage therapist all the way through the end too with my last little one. And
you're tough.
And there were a couple times where I was like, oh gosh, please excuse me, I really need to use the restroom. And I would have to go and pee. And that was just like, oh my God, I feel so embarrassed that I'm like, and it's time to go. So that was never fun. And there's been a couple times I forgot a face cradle or two when I'm on the road. And I'm like, you got a pillowcase, but luckily there has. Oh, I actually, okay, wait, no. This happened to me once, regular client. I had pulled my table out the night before from my vehicle because I had a bunch of stuff to do and I needed all that extra trunk space. Because, you know, small SUVs, you want to actually utilize your trunk.
Yeah.
Well, luckily it's a client I've had for about 6 or 7 years. I drove all the way to her house, opened my trunk, no table. So I go to her door. I had enough time in between clients and I'm like, please don't laugh at me. I don't have my table in my car. I will be back in 15 minutes.
Well, okay, it was just
hold on. That was my horrible story.
It sounds like it's only been the one time, though.
It was just one time. Thankfully, I haven't forgotten anything like major.
That's the worst. I don't think I forgot. No, I've forgotten a table before.
Yeah, no, that was opening up my trunk, and I was just like, did I? No, I did not just do that.
Maybe if I open it again,
it'll magically appear like in Harry Potter, you know, like the booth, you know, and be like, oh, no, it's not there.
Yeah, you think we wouldn't forget this giant piece of equipment, but it happens.
No, I leave mine in my car just for that reason, but it was just one of those family days, table came out, used my trunk space, and in the morning I was on autopilot.
Yeah.
So I had everything packed, my stereo packed, you know, cream, linens, everything's ready, get in my car, put it in there. Didn't even check for the table because...
Why would you?
Why would I?
Yeah.
And I don't leave my table out because, as you see, I have a cat. And otherwise it would become a scratching post.
Yeah.
So out of sight, out of mind. And there I went.
Well, I think this also tells a bigger part of the story too, about being your own boss in the field and having enough time in between clients. I'm sure you've worked at a clinic before where 5 minutes before the top of the hour, you're done with the client, and at the top of the hour, you're getting your next client.
That's part of why I like the fact about 1.5 years ago now I went fully mobile.
Nice.
I loved the doctor I worked with and the office I was in. We still have a great referral relationship, but that was just it. It was every hour on the hour. And so an hour massage was more like 50 minutes. And that's if you had a client that was really good about, okay, I'm getting on this table and I'm getting off this table. And let's face it, who wants to be like, okay, let's go right after a massage, get off my table, you know, and feel like you're getting flipped off.
Yeah.
So, you know, once I went fully mobile, it allowed me that extra time to really check in with my clients. I can arrive, we can base our treatment plan by what their needs are that day, what they've been going through. I'm able to give them that full table time. If I want to take an extra minute or two, I'm not stressing because here's someone in the lobby going, okay, Michele, it's like 5 after. I should be on this table already.
Give me a free session.
Yeah, you know, you're going to give me half price for that because I didn't get, you know, my full time. And so it allows me that time to really check in. It allows clients that extra minute or two to get off. And then again, they're not rushing out the door because they're at home. So
you can talk to them even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it actually, you know, I tell people if it's an hour massage, plan for an hour 15, maybe even an hour and 20, depending on what's going on with setup and breakdown, because, you know, I actually have that time. I actually am able to sit down and say, how are you feeling in your body? You know, what has been bothering you, whether it's waking up with a kink or out in the yard or they ran a half marathon, you know, or as you're working, as you know, our treatment plans change. You know, you start palpating and tissues are moving and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay, I know this is bothering you, but as you understand the kinetic change of the body and compensation patterns and those sorts of things, you know, as you're working, just because this area hurts, that doesn't mean that's where the problem is. One of my greatest mentors puts it best and says, it's the victim that screams. Right,
wow.
Yeah, right, right. It's a little morbid, but there's truth to it.
Deep. Yeah.
Because a lot of what we feel in the body is because of overuse and postural habits and compensation patterns. And, as we sit here slouching and like I'm trying to sit nice and straight. And so as we sit here and our spines twist and my knees are, these are the things that we do in our body. And, we don't listen to our body till it screams. I know you heard that saying as well, too. So, it all kind of comes together where just because that area hurts, that doesn't mean that's the area that's really the issue. It could be coming from the hip, the knee, the foot. Just a whole chain.
It's like it's all connected or something, man.
Yeah, who would have thunk it?
What's your favorite part about being a massage therapist?
Just the quality of care I'm able to give clients in their own home. Being someone who's come from chronic pain and knowing what a difference bodywork has made in my own life, I think is what really I love most about the work and keeps me going. When you live with pain, when you've had sports injuries and you find something that has been so beneficial to you, you just want to share it.
Yeah.
You really do. And so I have clients from all walks of life with all various etiologies and histories. And so I just like being able to hold that space for them and be a part of their process. Whether it's rehabilitative, whether it's maintenance, it all has its place.
Definitely. And it is an honor to be in that space with somebody.
Mm-hmm. It is. And, especially the background in massage education, really understanding, it's a lot for a person to undress and to get on a table.
It's a vulnerable position.
It's a very vulnerable position. And so that's why we always tell clients, undress to your level of comfort. And I explain a little more in depth than just this generic statement, 'cause especially a first timer to massage. They're like,
I'm comfortable.
I'm comfortable fully dressed. Do I really have to get undressed right now? You're asking them to be face down and not aware and check out. You want them to check out of that day-to-day fight or flight, sympathetic to parasympathetic, just allow the body to shut down. And we get intakes and we have health history and so forth, but we're not told about physical traumas that may have happened to them, emotional abuse, physical abuse. There's a lot that people go through. And so to hold that space for somebody is a big deal.
Without going into too much detail, have you come across emotional responses before in massage?
Actually, not too long ago, a client messaged me right before I went on vacation. They were one of the last sessions I had, and I showed up, and this person was extremely stressed out through work, and they have a very stressful job, and I highly respect the work that this person does. And this individual was actually kind of debating whether or not they should even have a massage that day just because of where they felt in their body. And I was like, let's get you on the table. Let's hold the space. If we need to stop, tell me. We can always just stop the session. Yeah. And it felt great after the session, but it was the next day I get a message and it was like, oh my God, I had a breakdown after our session, like just bawling and this and that. And it's the body purging. Yeah. Because people don't understand, it's not just the physical stuff we're working through. We're not just kneading through, the muscle tissue and the connective tissue and things, but we hold on to as much trauma emotionally and mentally within the body and the soft tissue as we do those physical traumas. That's why I love having an integrative practice where I've studied Eastern, Western, energetic principles, polarity therapy, understanding the chakras, understanding the connective tissue and how it's almost like a secondary nervous system in the body.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm saying that because I actually spent, one of the biggest things I've done this last year is I just became certified in fascial stretching and strengthening. Gangster. And I spent about 50 hours one-on-one with my mentor and other students becoming certified to teach. I haven't started a class yet because I'm just mom life, business, exactly. Yeah. But that is one of my goals, and it's been some wonderful tools that I've brought into my practice because the fascia is amazing.
Yes.
And connective tissue work is in every one of my sessions, whether it's relaxation or the deeper tissue stuff. I always address the fascia of the body.
Nice. Let's say some of my wonderful guests that are watching the video today definitely cannot get in with us, or just looking to switch up their massage therapy treatments.
Oh, yeah.
Where can they find you at?
Well, I am located online on Facebook. You can find me at www.facebook.com/mmundaylmt. Yeah,
Is
Monday with a
spelled?
U.
Okay, yeah, there
so
we
it's
go.
MMUNDAY
Nice.
LMT. From there, there's a direct link to my website. It has my phone contact information. You can actually reach me 7 days a week. Doesn't mean I'm available 7 days a week. I try not to be a slave to my labor of love as a mom and a wife and so forth, but life doesn't happen 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
So I may not get back to you right away, and I apologize, but always shoot me that message or text, and I do my best to get back at least that same day or within a couple hours. So.
Cool. Well, thank
been
you for
fun.
hanging out. This was awesome.
I'm always nervous doing little video interviews and stuff, so this has been a lot of fun. Broke me out of my
survived.
comfort shell.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could do another one sometime.
Yeah, we
This
can
was
do
great.
something a little more focused on maybe a specific topic. We can ask some of your followers what you guys want to hear about from a couple of massage therapists.
What do you want to hear about? Leave it in the comments section
Yeah, leave it in
below.
the comments. Tell us
Yeah.
what you want to know about various types of massage or things like when we mentioned something like contraindications,
Yeah.
maybe what to be aware of with health history and stuff when getting massages. And
Yeah, what should you be asking your massage therapist about?
yeah,
if
make sure
something
they're
hurts?
knowledgeable. I mean, massage feels good, but you want to make sure they're knowledgeable as well.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Well, thank you for watching and thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll catch you all in the next video.
Bye, guys.